Hi all, Stanky here. The reason why PlayStation is where they are today is because of their high-quality first-party talent. While the PS3 was floundering in the 2010s, PlayStation embraced its own developers, empowering them to make strong first-party games. This gave the PS3 a unique identity. PlayStation wisely doubled down on this in the PS4 generation, releasing high-quality cinematic games that only could be found on PlayStation. When you think about PlayStation exclusives, studios like Naughty Dog, Guerrilla, Santa Monica, and Insomniac all probably come to mind. But honestly, when you look at PlayStation studios, there's one that is a silent workhorse. One that never gets the praise they deserve. Washington's own Sucker Punch Productions joined the PlayStation family in 2011 after the launch of Infamous 2. And while Sucker Punch is liked, it often feels like the studio gets dismissed amongst Sony's first party. So in this video, we're gonna give Sucker Punch their flowers and answer the question, why is it that Sucker Punch always gets overlooked? And what makes their games special? Sucker Punch's story begins in 1997, as a group of 6 ex-Microsoft developers founded the studio in Bellevue, Washington. Their first big video game was Rocket Robot on Wheels. This was a critically acclaimed N64 platformer that ultimately was a commercial flop. Discouraged, Sucker Punch didn't give up. Their next game they pitched directly to PlayStation at the early concept phase. This game was a concept that they found humorous, a game about a raccoon who puts on a thief mask. Sly Cooper and the Thievius Raccoonus released September 24th of 2002. This game really was Sucker Punch's big break, as Sly's colorful characters and stylish platforming made Sly 1 a surprise hit, quickly selling 1 million copies. This took PlayStation by surprise, as no one expected the 3D platformer and proto-furry bait to do so well. A sequel was quickly greenlit. Sly 2 Band of Thieves released on September 14th of 2004, and this is the game that helped Sucker Punch establish their award-winning formula. The Sucker Punch formula: take a familiar concept, execute it exceptionally well, and then fill it to the brim with style and unique gameplay ideas. Sly 2 was a 3D hub world-based platformer. While this seems pretty standard, what makes it special is how Sucker Punch expanded on these ideas to make something wholly unique. Sly 2 is a stealth game. Stealth games like 3D platformers are all about positioning. Stealth requires the player to navigate around guards in the same way a 3D platformer requires you to navigate around enemies. Stealth and platforming go together like peanut butter and jelly in Sly 2. As the player sneaks through the environment, they must platform around guard sightlines and lasers to complete missions. Sucker Punch made a wise choice to give the player a ton of platforming tools. In the game's jump and press the circle button magnetic platforming gives the player the maximum amount of air control from rooftop to rooftop. While Sly 1 was a by-the-numbers Crash Bandicoot ripoff, with Sly 2, Sucker Punch swung for the fences. This game oozes style with beautiful animated cutscenes, and the story is also weirdly good. Sucker Punch takes its characters seriously, and this game about raccoons and turtles is weirdly heartwarming and gut-wrenching as these 3 brothers come together to pull off heists. Spoilers, but I mean the game literally has an emotional climax where one of the main characters becomes wheelchair bound. Frankly, Sly 2 and 3 are what I want from 3D platformers, but as Sucker Punch concluded the Sly trilogy with Sly 3 in 2005, the studio was ready to move on, to take on some darker subject matter, ready to mature with 2009's Infamous. Do me a favor, think of the biggest trash bag you know. This person is probably a little selfish, talks about how many women they bag, and probably gets drunk all the time.
Dropped out of college and got a job as a bike courier. Mostly just to piss off my parents.
Infamous answers the question, what if a trash bag got superpowers? Again, let's revisit this idea of Sucker Punch's formula. Take a concept you've seen before, execute on it exceptionally, and fill it to the brim with great gameplay ideas. Infamous, at the time of 2009, was something we'd kind of seen before. An open-world superhero game mixed with Mass Effect's morality system. But what makes Infamous so much fun is that the game has a strong sense of identity and style. Sucker Punch knows exactly what superpowers powers to give the player to make them feel like a strong superhuman. From shooting shockwaves and throwing lightning, the electric powers here feel good to use. Worth noting, Sucker Punch also gets movement. This really started in Sly, but Infamous refines it to the maximum. From electro hovering to grinding on rails, these powers feel good to use as you navigate the game's open world. And honestly, the story in Infamous is good as well. It centers on these two bad people, Cole and Zeke, who come together and become brothers.
When we get there, we're gonna be about the 3 B's. That's beer, boobs, and mechanical bullets.
Cole kinda sucks, and that's the point. He is a selfish dude that cares more about his own survival. Cole and Zeke are trash bags, but what makes Infamous work is the fact that the player has a choice about who Cole becomes. As the player, do you redeem him, or do you make him give into his worst instincts? An evil playthrough lets you become a cartoonishly ridiculous supervillain, making all these awful choices that honestly just make me laugh. Whereas a hero playthrough involves Cole overcoming his worst instincts, watching him become this flawed hero that works hard to do the right thing, and it plays out in the gameplay as well. Infamous always did a phenomenal job of splitting the good and evil skill trees, giving you access to unique powers if you are a superhero or a supervillain. Do you want to become Palpatine, shooting people with red lightning, or do you become a Paragon, flying through the air with ice and electricity? At the time of the first 2 games, dark, nihilistic superhero stories weren't played out. Infamous felt unique, a game about a regular dude who could shoot lightning bolts. But Infamous 1 and Infamous 2 really serve as Sucker Punch evolving their storytelling chops from Sly. Infamous 2 specifically has some great heart-wrenching endings.
Look, I don't call you brother because I like the way it sounds.
While Infamous Second Son was a little bit of a disappointment and a step down from a storytelling perspective, the game is still good, as the player gets unique powers from neon to smoke, and Sucker Punch does a great job of enabling interesting movement through Seattle. All of that almost makes up for the fact that you have to play as this boring wannabe punk rocker. Infamous, to me, is the perfect encapsulation of an 8 out of 10 video game. It's not something that'll stick with you for the rest of your life, but it's something that's so fun and pulpy to play. The legacy of Infamous is a series that helped save the PS3, a series that made the console a unique place to play at a time when it was struggling, but Sucker Punch's best work was still yet to come. Ghost of Yotei literally begins with you writing the names of your family's killers on a piece of paper and then checking them off with their own blood as you kill them. Tsushima ends with this beautiful sword fight amongst the autumn leaves, as Jin must atone for becoming a ninja. The Ghost games are pulp action video games. A fun samurai popcorn action movie distilled into an open-world video game. But to me, what makes Tsushima and Yotei so special is Sucker Punch's exquisite character writing. Jin is a kind warrior. He wants to do the right thing, but he gets caught between his culture as a samurai and the brutality that it takes to defeat the Mongols. Atsu is warped by the death of her family. She says so herself. She's hollow, unable to feel normal within her community, but she still chooses to do good, even if it's a self-serving act of revenge. These characters are stuff we've seen before, but Sucker Punch succeeds by going a layer deeper, using strong character writing and set pieces to sell Jin and Atsu as these compelling characters. And the supporting cast is also great. Tsushima's side quests are all about developing its world and supporting characters, giving you loyalty missions with them. Again, let's go to our Sucker Punch formula. Take a familiar concept, execute it exceptionally well. In this case, it's Ghost of Tsushima's Ubisoft-style open world. It has a ton of activities and strong visual design that makes it interesting to explore. Then Sucker Punch fills it to the brim with unique gameplay ideas. From following the wind to haikus to standoffs, Sucker Punch gets what gimmicks can elevate your game into something greater. What makes a samurai game cool is fulfilling that fantasy of being a wandering warrior, and Sucker Punch executes on that perfectly with the Ghost games. Ghost of Tsushima and Yotei are proof that good vibes and strong characters can go a long way to make a game great. The world is saturated with color, making it a visual delight to explore. But more importantly, Sucker Punch makes the player feel cool, as the Ghost is this larger-than-life character. The Ghost is Batman. Much like the Arkham games, the gameplay revolves around terrifying enemies as a larger-than-life symbol of hope. Because Tsushima and Yotei are so much fun to play, I find the conversation that goes on around these games online to be frustrating. Frequently, people disparage these games, throwing them aside, disregarding them as just another Ubisoft open world. More Ubisoft open world slop. And to that I say, yes. These games are Ubisoft-esque open worlds, where you complete checklists and unique activities. But I'd also ask, what game does it better? What game tells a better pulp action story with this open world format? What game has as many unique, charming mechanics in this format? Go away, Horizon. When it comes to this type of game, there's nothing better. Assassin's Creed pales in comparison. Far Cry is bland, and Horizon, well, Horizon's another video. The Ghost games are Sucker Punch at their best. These immaculately crafted, Ubisoft-esque open worlds that embody the samurai fantasy. Sucker Punch is one of those developers that can take a familiar concept and make it feel fresh with unique gameplay ideas and style. The fact of the matter is, Sucker Punch is PlayStation's silent workhorse, churning out high-quality games that always add texture to PlayStation's library. While not every Sucker Punch game is a masterpiece, they kinda don't have to be. With Yotei only costing $60 million to create, in an industry where everything costs over $100 million, Sucker Punch has cemented themselves, in my mind, as a developer that can sustainably make iconic, stylish games with a whole lot of heart. As a Sucker Punch fanboy, I find the way the studio gets disregarded to honestly be frustrating. Frankly, every game that Sucker Punch has made has been good to great, and their output is way more consistent, way more interesting than some of the other first-party PlayStation teams. While Sony's first party competes to tell the most self-serious, deep story, I appreciate that Sucker Punch over the years has put a focus on making pulpy action games. Games with strong characters and strong story, but still have that emphasis on being extremely playable, placing focus on unique, interesting mechanics and style rather than just cutscene direction. I mean, Yotei has a horse boosting mechanic. You can't get better than that. While some may disregard Ghost of Yotei as something they've seen before, I personally am fine with a game using familiar ideas. Sucker Punch has this way of immaculately delivering and building on past ideas that makes their games unique and stylish. I personally am fine with a game using familiar ideas. This idea that a game must have brand new gameplay ideas to be great is honestly insane to me. Games are cumulative, a constant refinement and improvement of the mechanics that came before. Is every game with a jump button automatically a 6 out of 10 because Mario did it first? No! To me, Yotei is refreshing because it reminds me of the Uncharted days of the PS3, where you could play a game with a fun story and just enjoy it like an action movie. But that's a novel concept, right? Just having fun and playing an action game? Remember, this channel is home to stinky opinions. Love what you saw? Hate what you saw? Drop a comment down below. And why not subscribe if you enjoyed the show? Thanks for me, Stanky, the CEO.